This is the story of an ambitious CEO flying around the world in his private jet, convinced he's revolutionizing the future of work. This same man convinced the world's smartest investors to give him $47 billion for a company that essentially rented office desks. He owned multiple mansions, a private jet, and even bought the trademark to the word "we" for nearly $6 million. But in just 4 years, his empire crumbled spectacularly, leaving thousands jobless and investors devastated. This is the incredible true story of Adam Neumann and WeWork, one of the most dramatic business failures in modern history. Get ready for a story that has everything: massive ambition, private jets, tequila-fueled investor meetings, and the most spectacular downfall you've ever seen. Adam Neumann wasn't born into wealth. He was a college dropout from Israel who arrived in New York with big dreams and empty pockets. In 2008, he and Miguel McKelvey started Green Desk, an eco-friendly co-working space in Brooklyn that barely made ends meet. But Neumann had an extraordinary gift. He could sell any vision to anyone, making even the most skeptical investors believe. In 2010, they sold Green Desk and launched WeWork with a deceptively simple concept: rent large offices, divide them up, and sublease the pieces. But Neumann wasn't just selling office space. He was selling a movement, a lifestyle, a revolution in how people connect and work. The first WeWork opened in Soho with exposed brick walls, free beer on tap, and ping-pong tables. Millennials absolutely loved it. Neumann would walk around barefoot, preaching about elevating the world's consciousness while building his business empire. By 2012, WeWork had multiple New York locations, and Neumann was already living like a tech billionaire. Here, where Neumann's genius became clear, he convinced investors that WeWork wasn't a real estate company, it was a technology platform. He claimed they were building the future of human connection, powered by data analytics and cutting-edge technology. In reality, they were sophisticated landlords with excellent coffee and inspirational wall quotes. But the vision was so compelling that in 2014, investors lined up to give them $100 million. WeWork expanded aggressively to 50 cities by 2015, spending money faster than they could count it. Then came the golden opportunity. Masayoshi Son from SoftBank, known for making billion-dollar bets on visionary companies. In 2017, Son invested $4.4 billion, completely buying into Neumann's world-changing narrative. By January 2019, WeWork reached its peak valuation of $47 billion, worth more than Ford or General Motors. Neumann was now worth over $4 billion on paper, and his lifestyle began to reflect his newfound status. With billions in funding, Neumann began living like the tech royalty he believed himself to be. He purchased a $40 million Gulfstream private jet and flew constantly between WeWork locations worldwide. The jet was always stocked with his favorite tequila, and business meetings often turned into impromptu celebrations. Neumann owned multiple luxury properties, mansions in the Hamptons, a sprawling ranch in California, and expensive Manhattan apartments. At company events, he would dramatically remove his shirt, take shots of tequila, and declare his intention to become the world's first trillionaire. He brought his wife Rebecca, who had no business experience, into the company as chief brand officer with significant influence. Together, they made hiring and firing decisions based on employees' energy and whether their values aligned with the WeWork mission. In an incredible move, Neumann trademarked the word "we," then sold it back to his own company for nearly $6 million. He also owned buildings that he leased to WeWork, essentially paying himself rent using investor money. All of this happened while WeWork was losing nearly $2 billion annually and had never turned a profit. In 2019, Riding high on success and believing his own hype, Neumann made a fateful decision to take WeWork public. This decision would prove to be his downfall, because going public meant revealing everything to the world. The S-1 filing was a complete disaster, exposing massive losses, questionable accounting, and Neumann's conflicts of interest. Investors suddenly realized they had been funding Adam Neumann's lavish lifestyle rather than a sustainable business. Wall Street analysts tore apart WeWork's business model, calling it fundamentally flawed and completely unsustainable. Stories emerged about Neumann's unconventional leadership style, bringing Tequila to board meetings and making major decisions impulsively. The media coverage highlighted his lavish spending and his wife's influence over company operations. Facing a complete public relations nightmare, WeWork was forced to cancel its IPO in September 2019. SoftBank, realizing the extent of the problems, demanded Neumann's immediate resignation, or they would withdraw all support. On September 24, 2019, Adam Neumann was forced to step down as CEO, ending his remarkable but chaotic reign. Even in defeat, Neumann managed one final controversial victory. SoftBank paid him nearly $2 billion to leave quietly. While thousands of WeWork employees faced layoffs and uncertainty, the architect of the disaster walked away incredibly wealthy. Then the pandemic hit, and WeWork's core business model, packing people into shared workspaces, became completely obsolete. Members canceled their contracts en masse, leaving WeWork with billions in lease obligations and dramatically reduced income. The company implemented massive layoffs, closing dozens of locations worldwide and desperately trying to cut costs. In 2021, WeWork finally went public through a SPAC merger, valued at just $9 billion, an 80% decline from its peak. Despite new leadership and restructuring efforts, WeWork continued to struggle with massive debt and declining demand. In November 2023, WeWork filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, officially marking the end of the most hyped startup failure in history. So what happened to Adam Neumann after orchestrating one of the biggest business failures in modern history? He remains extraordinarily wealthy, living comfortably while his former employees continue to deal with the aftermath of WeWork's collapse. In a move that surprised everyone, Neumann launched a new company called Flow, focused on revolutionizing residential real estate. Incredibly, he managed to raise hundreds of millions in funding, proving that investors still believe in his visionary capabilities. His wife Rebecca launched her own wellness and lifestyle company, continuing to promote mindful business practices. Meanwhile, SoftBank lost over $10 billion on their WeWork investment, marking it as their most expensive mistake ever. Thousands of former WeWork employees lost their jobs, saw their stock options become worthless, and many struggled to find new opportunities. Property owners who leased space to WeWork faced massive losses when the company defaulted on billions in rent payments. The WeWork story isn't just about one company's spectacular failure. It's a masterclass in how vision can become delusion. It demonstrates how charismatic leadership and compelling narratives can overshadow fundamental business realities. Adam Neumann convinced the world to fund his ambitious lifestyle by packaging it as revolutionary business innovation. He transformed "fake it till you make it" into an art form, building a $47 billion valuation on hopes and dreams. The most remarkable part: despite everything, he's already building his next billion-dollar venture with renewed investor confidence. Because in the world of venture capital, apparently spectacular failure is just another stepping stone to the next big opportunity. If this incredible story fascinated you, make sure to subscribe for more unbelievable tales of ambition, success, and ultimate downfall.